Aloha and welcome to Java. Thanks for joining me again. This is Tuesday and it's December 12th, 2023. I wanted to go over a couple of things that happened first with the stock market yesterday. As we call them, the Magnificent Seven top mega tech stocks, for instance, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, were down yesterday, 200 billion in market cap. And the interesting part about that is that they comprise a large part of the NASDAQ. And yet, while they were down, the NASDAQ was still increasing. So, also, we had Treasury yields hit their highest in 10 days. So, that's pretty significant. There was a bond sale and it did not do very well. So, basically, when no one else wants to buy the United States debt, the Federal Reserve has to step in and buy it. We've got oil prices are coming back above the $70 per barrel. And we had a drop in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency on a bill that Senator Warren had proposed. So it's not passed, but she did propose it. So wanted to go over a few things before we started. Today we're showing that the MMRI risk is still relatively stable. And the two main elements of that, of course, relative dollar strength and the 10-year have all stayed about the same levels. So, kind of a chop market yesterday. We are getting some inflation numbers today, and that will be interpreted as in accordance with however they think the Federal Reserve will either cut rates or stay for longer. So the large story really is tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, at 2:30, when Jerome Powell will start answering questions about whether they're going to their policy moving forward, whether they're going to cut rates or just hold for a while. So with our calendar, we are expecting those numbers prior to market open. So there'll be definite volatility prior to it opening. And then we're watching for the 30-year bond auction is today. So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that could cause some volatility because traders are finally beginning to look more at the larger picture and the macro and see that it is indeed affecting the markets. So into some stories about the banks, we've got JP Morgan, they're outsourcing $500 billion of custody business. So the interesting part is number one, the timing, and number two, the areas. So it's Hong Kong, Taiwan, and these are custody business. Normally, if anything happens with these, they do the trade basically like holding loans. Anything goes wrong with these, they basically seize the assets. So it seems to me like they see things up and coming for this region that are probably going to be very difficult. So they're saying that they're not profitable enough, but I think they're either pulling back capital, which they don't really need, but they're pulling out of this area. And somebody always knows first. So in these wars, trade wars, oil, as we were talking about, did rise, and they're talking about worry about oversupply or shipping disruptions, not having enough supply. So basically, an oil tanker got bombed yesterday because of all the warring, blaming it on the Houthis and these other things. But what it boils down to is they're all there for a climate energy summit. And it just seems to me that allowing a war to go on and bombing oil tankers is much worse for the environment than how much oil we're using driving our cars to work or whatever it is we're doing. So kind of seems backward, as I would think that they would, if they were really concerned about the environment, they would work on this war thing. But what do I know? So another story with JP Morgan, this is just talking about how they handle assets. So they've got a major fight because they used to have, well, they used to be wealthy people, and now they've lost their $50 million fortune. They're fighting them over it. So I think this is an indicator of what is coming, that basically part of this war that we're going to be facing after this debt bubble bursts must be fought by the quote unquote wealthy. Not all of the wealthy are in on this, and I think that they're going to be hit as well. So it's going to be very interesting moving forward. So, a couple of stories on the real economy. The UK is kind of paving the way, if you would, talking about wage growth slowing showing that their economy is actually cooling. So when those unemployment numbers, as I said yesterday, I believe they're going to need to at least double from where they currently are before we pull out of this recession. We've got a ways to go. And then supermarkets are reporting sales of the general merchandise sliding ahead of Christmas. So we also got a story from Hasbro, which is major toy maker. Heading into Christmas, they're doing layoffs because of a drop in demand. So they're also seeing that things numbers are not enough and the economy is just not as strong as they're saying. Okay, and the other story that we have, the reason that cryptocurrency fell yesterday, Elizabeth Warren proposed a bill that would kind of put a stranglehold on cryptocurrency, more regulation. So dropped on that, it was pretty high and at a lot of resistance. So it's not a shock. But this story coming out saying that only 11 of her 330 bills have ever passed. That's not a very good it's not a very good record, but anyway, basically saying don't really worry about it. It's not very likely that this one will pass either. So, with lava updates, which I'm going to be going very lightly on for a while now, since I've been a little overregulated, in my opinion. So, Kathy Woods, she leads ARK Investments. She's a brilliant woman, but she's buying into the AI push, artificial intelligence. But her gamble is going on to Microsoft and Facebook. Um, I think they're both going to do very well. And Google is also in this. So Microsoft is now controlling basically OpenAI with ChatGPT. Facebook has their own that they are creating. And also, Microsoft, Bill Gates, through another area, is creating MOSIP. If you have not heard of this, it's basically a worldwide digital ID system that he's rolling out, being very quiet about it. You probably have not heard about it, but they have over 900 million people already identified, sourced, and into their system. They start mostly with smaller countries that have no idea what's going on, and then they're going to push adoption. But my artificial intelligence play for the larger players, and I'll tell you why, is actually Amazon. So meet Vector. Vector Robot is a home robot talking about he hangs out and helps. He's got facial recognition and Amazon Alexa built in. So my choice for this, not that I want this, will have this in my home or am pushing this. However, the reason I think this might be the large play winner is because Amazon is already in almost every home in the United States and most worldwide. So they have the edge of what I call adoption. So they are also, from all of this technology, they've been amassing the basically all of the files from Alexa, all of the voice files and audio files for years. They now have Amazon Web Services, which is massive digital storage. So now all of that data they've already got, all they have to do now is link it. So with everybody buying these cute robots, I think it will push that adoption even farther. So I wanted to go into some of the capabilities. He can see. So visual, basically video recording. He can think, the artificial intelligence. So basically assess situations, can hear obviously audio and can communicate. So not just communicate, currently has a voice assigned, but can assimilate other voices as well and learn and imitate voices eventually that are around him, including yours. So can also self-charge. So after self-charging will be self-repair. That's kind of the general rule that goes out with some of these. So I just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was interesting and kind of watch this uh, progression as it is. And so who trains the artificial intelligence will make a difference in the future. So just, be kind to your robots. If you've got these at home, might be a good idea for the future. So with that, just want to urge to live, trade, and think outside their system and just kind of put this forward for my Friend Alan Greenspan, let me know what you think of this. Gold Grub Guns, Gardens, and most important to me, good friends. Let me know how I did, Alan. And if anybody else has any of their versions, put them in the chat for me. And as always, my friends, until I see you again, stay free.